I used to do that and I know how that can be. And then, I started using this and this helped me do that. Or what I'm using to do this could also help you to do that. So be thinking about those four questions. I'll kick off with my shuffle story, then I'm going to kick it over to somebody else you probably heard from before, most likely Rebecca, Kathy, Guy, somebody on this call, and then we'll open it up for anybody else who wants to share as a welcome to the Elify Nation in this group. So for those of you who haven't heard my shuffle story, it actually starts about 20 years ago. And in fact, more with Shuffle about 10 years ago, but I've been an affiliate marketer online for the last 20 years. And it's weird to say this, but I've essentially been able to work from home for the last 20 years. So pre-pandemic, I was doing the post-pandemic thing before it was even cool. And now we're past the, post-apocalyptic pandemic time, and we're all trying to figure out this new normal. Well, I've been living this way for the last 20 years, and it was because of affiliate marketing. But when I first started, I needed to learn all things about technology, coding, HTML, online marketing, all of that type of stuff, because I wanted to have some time freedom and some location freedom in my life. And so I got involved with some friends. We started marketing online, and we realized that there's a whole place of commerce that happens on the internet. This was probably about the time that Jeff Bezos was spinning up Amazon and all these other things were coming up. And now in hindsight, look at how much commerce is going on online. So one of the things that I realized quickly is if I didn't know how to program a website, build a web page, optimize it for search, drive eyeballs to it, and get people to purchase products, I wasn't going to be very successful. But that if I could figure out those things, the sky was the limit on what I could earn online. And I thought that was so powerful. And this was a time when I was in college and everybody else was, going to school with the mission of getting a good job and working the 9 to 5 for the rest of their life. And here I was sort of living the mailbox money lifestyle while studying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I think that was the aha moment for me, that if we could find a way to help other people create a presence online without having to learn how to code, without having to learn how to do all of these things, if they could leverage technology on the internet to create a presence and then share that presence with other people, track it like most digital marketers do, they could see a massive impact in their business. And guys, the stats are out there, okay? There's about 1 in every 3 businesses. These are entrepreneurs, business owners, work-at-home professionals, et cetera, who aren't online at all. They don't even have a digital presence. So when somebody's looking for that contractor, that roofer, that landscaper, that financial advisor, that direct seller, they're usually going on their phone and going online. In fact, we're spending 4.5 hours a day on this thing. So I wanted to focus on something that would help people put their material in front of people where the eyeballs and the attention are. I was able to meet and link back up with Guy. We've been diligently working on this. We've been developing technology in this space for the last decade. And I think that's what's so powerful. We were developing it for companies. We were developing it for individuals and teams. And then about 3 years ago, we thought, wow, we should take this direct consumer. At the end of the day, this is most powerful for that small business owner who's using this technology to take their business to the next level. And so that's the path we went down. We decided to start out with the most important piece of digital marketing we can all leverage, and that's the way we introduce ourselves, the first impression that we make with other people. So we created a digital business card, a nice, easy, simple profile that you could create, share with others to make that connection and make a lasting first impression. And it was very well received, but we also knew it's not just about the digital marketing. When I was a digital marketer online, right, early 2000s, it was all about the web flow. It was all about the traffic. It was all about the eyeballs. And it still is true today. But in that day, we were driving millions of eyeballs, right? We were dominating the search engines and we were playing the numbers. But what we realized in developing Shuffle is that not everybody has influence over millions of eyeballs, but we all have micro influence over a handful of eyeballs. Our friends on Facebook, the people on our email list, the people that we text or we call. These are our spheres of influence. So we wanted to empower people to create content online and then share that content with the influence that they had. And most notably, be able to track that. And I think that's the key to marketing online, especially if you're in a sales or marketing driven business, is you've got to be getting your information in front of eyeballs. and you've got to allow those eyeballs to click through and make a purchase. And what we found increases that more than anything else is the relationship and people doing business with people they know, like, and trust. So when we were online marketing a lot early on, we didn't care about the relationship. It was eyeballs, and whoever clicked through, they either bounced or they bought, and we would play the numbers. But when we started working on the relationship, we realized that the conversion rates went up, even though we maybe had smaller numbers of eyeballs to work with. And we thought this is something that any business can apply. If they have a business card, they can use this solution. If they deal with individuals, they can use this solution. And that's what Guy and I have been working on diligently ever since. As many of you know, you have Shuffle right now. You see what Shuffle can do and what it's doing for you. The way that I use it every day, I've got my business card on there, but I've used it for anything that I need to create a presence or a poster or an ad online for. I can go through every situation. I've even sold a used car using Shuffle by posting my car ad on all the places linking back to my Shuffle card, guys. And I still get views on a card for a car that I sold about a year ago. It's really crazy to watch and to track. So I'm really excited, again, a little bit biased about Shuffle just as one of the founders and the creators over here, but I know it can have an impact in anybody's business. I know because it's had an impact in mine. I know because people have shared millions of cards. Cards have been viewed millions of times, okay? Elify has created millions of dollars in revenue and helped its customers create millions of dollars. And I think that's so powerful. That's the ultimate goal. Our mission is to support the success of everybody who uses the technology. And as affiliates, we paid out over $1 million in affiliate commissions on something that's as simple as a business card. And I think that's so powerful. We're not selling $100, $200, $500 products here. We're selling solutions that will help businesses be more successful. So I'm going to get off my soapbox. My name is ER. That's my Shuffle story. I hope you've learned something from it, something that's inspired or empowered you. And I look forward to hearing the next person's Shuffle story. So Rebecca, you had your hand up. Go on ahead and lower it down and let us know what you have to say. Guy, maybe over to you next, or Kathy. So get ready.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rebecca. If you don't already know me, it's nice to meet all of y'all. So I've got a couple of things to hit on. I didn't share this last week, but I gave it a lot of thought on my introduction into Shuffle, and it was a fun and intense introduction. So I've got two things to say. One, when I came into Shuffle, it was basically shoved down my throat. If you know the person I'm talking about, I ain't gonna name names, but the person who brought me into Shuffle, she and I are close and I love her to death. She's one of my dearest friends. She was talking about it and she was using it and blah, 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 and sharing it left and right. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And she goes, you don't have Shuffle? And she grabbed my phone out of my hand. She goes, unlock it. Downloaded the app, put her code in. She's like, what's your card? Give me your credit card. I was like, what? She's like, $10 a month. You can do this. And I'm a brand new entrepreneur. I was like, oh, $10 a month, like for an app? Come on. Well, she just, in that moment, I opened up her ability to just shove as much information down my throat as fast as she could. She was like, well, it does this and it does this, and you could do this and this and this. And she gave me so much information overload. And I love the app. There's nothing that I couldn't probably create with this app functionality wise for online needs. Love the app. Y'all know I love Shuffle. But one of the things that she didn't do was pause to listen. Come back to listening, ER. Pause to listen for what I could use this tool, why I might need it, and really hit the points that would sell me on it. Now, her and I were business partners. I took her word for it, and sometimes I do it too. When I get excited and I hear someone say one thing where I'm like, oh my God, this is exactly what you need, and you want this and this and this, and it does all this, I have to make myself pause and remember to come back to the relationship building aspect and say, you know what, this app has so much functionality. Maybe what is something that you're missing in your business right now? And if you just get a little bit of information to tie in one thing first, and you would be amazed at how much one little conversation, even though it's not all the information, how that is a great starting point to get them involved and then slowly bring them in more. And I love my friend to death. I got overwhelmed and I probably didn't touch the app for like 2 months because I was so scattered mentally. I almost didn't even know what it did because I just thought, wow. So that's one part of wisdom that I know we've all had that moment where it's like someone has said something and you think to yourself, God, they could really use Shuffle and it would help them so much. But I guess I'm going to challenge everybody on here. Follow through with that thought. Don't let that hesitation get in your way. Make the suggestion. They're your friend, they're your business partner, maybe they're someone you just met. What if you introduced one tool into their life that changed their entire business? Like, that's so powerful to me. And I wanted to definitely touch on the point of, remember to kind of have a conversation and listen, and then build from there. So that's my Shuffle story. And it's a lot, and I love my person, but just don't shove it down people's throats. That's wait for your moment.
Lesson, huh?
Yes,
I think that's so great, Rebecca. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think we all know somebody who's had that similar experience, maybe not with Shuffle, but maybe with some other product or service where the person who's sharing it is so excited because they know, they see it's clicked for them. But Rebecca, to your point, they're losing sight of the relationship, right? Everybody needs it. Everybody has it. Here's why, because I have it and this is how I use it. But if you just take that extra step, and Rebecca, you made the point, like ask the question. And if you are versed in Shuffle, if you've been coming on Tuesdays to the Q&A and you've chatted with Kathy and you've learned how to use the solution, you have a good idea of all the functionality. And so sometimes when I'm asking the questions to somebody, I'm going to focus on the functionality, right? Do you have a business card? There's a great question to ask somebody. Do you have a business card? Why? Shuffle's a great business card supplement or replacement. So you want to be thinking about that and asking pointed questions. You don't ask questions like, what did you have for lunch? That's not going to help you hit the end goal, right? You want to refer Shuffle. So you want to ask Shuffle related questions. And one of the keys here is the person asking the question, guys, this is the simplest trick. The person asking the question controls the conversation. If you haven't learned that yet, this is going to be a powerful tip that you're picking up on today's Friday with the founders, guys, is the person asking the questions controls the conversation. Where are you from? Are you here or did you by yourself or with family? Like all of the questions that you're asking are going to steer the conversation and provide information for you to make informed decisions on what to say. So this is so powerful. And think about that functionality, right? Do you have a business card? How do you manage your relationships? Oh, do you use a CRM? How do you set follow-up reminders for people? Oh, are they always falling through the cracks for you? If I could solve that problem for you, would it be valuable? Yes. How much value? It'd probably get you an extra 1 customer, 2 customers, 5 customers a month. There's value to each customer. Hopefully at least $10 worth of value or $20 worth of value or $30 worth of value. You find out what that picture is, and then you're going to serve it up. And they're almost going to walk you through by answering questions, how to position it to best serve them. And to Rebecca's point, when you do that, when you formulate that process and you serve it up to them on a silver platter, exactly what they're looking for, the conversion rate tends to be very, very high. And the last comment, and Rebecca, I'll throw it back to you for any insight on this, but the last comment on that is once you've done that and you've served it up for them, you're actually helping them. And I think this is the biggest point of the whole thing. Rebecca, you said it. When you ever see somebody or find somebody who needs Shuffle, like you're literally sitting back and you're looking at them from afar and you're going, oh my gosh, they need this. They could do this, this, and this, and it would just turn their world around. They need this. You're no longer selling and marketing, okay? You're helping. And I think that's the key to all of this. If you're scared about getting a no or somebody saying, what is that? Or you losing some credibility or looking bad, because that's the fear, right? Fear that we all have. And Guy, I know you know an acronym for fear here. But what we need to do is let that false reality go away and help people. Be a servant leader and say, hey, I'm using something that's made an impact in my life. And it sounds like, or I think it could make an impact in your life. And if I ask you a few questions and you give me honest answers, I can tell you what this is and whether it would help you or not. And if it doesn't help, too bad, so sad. I'm sorry I spent 5, 10, 20 minutes of your time. And if it does, think about the impact it could have in their business, right? If this had a 10% impact in a business that does 6 figures a year, you know what I mean? At a minimum, that's an extra $10,000 a year or almost $1,000 a month. This is the way we like to think of things in business. And these are what business tools do to help us. So with that being said, Rebecca, back over to you for any additional insight. I love your shuffle story too. Do not change that, because it is so similar to all or a bunch of stories that I've heard from other people encountering different things. And this is the way people hear about things, guys. So.
No, 100%. And I just wanted to add on to that. I know getting caught up in your own mind happens a lot. So, and I love how you said, do you have a business card? Most people in business, entrepreneurs, business owners, they're going to say, yeah. I have 2 ways, depending on the person I'm talking to, that I take that next step with them. Is I always ask them, that's awesome. Or I always tell them, that's awesome. I'm glad you have a business card. People can save that in their contacts, right? And they'll go, well, what? Or I'll say it another way, like, oh, how do people get that in their phone? Right? And again, it just kind of depends on the conversation, but it's a big light bulb for people on the fact that when you are missing that bridge, and then sometimes, depending on the conversation, I'll be like, man, I can't tell you how many business cards I lose. I can't tell you how many I get and how many I lose. And maybe I'll look at it later. I'm like, man, who was that? So that's a good next stepping stone for bringing the attention to how powerful one little transition could be to getting in your prospect's phone and in their immediate access. They can't lose you if you're in their contacts. It's a big thing for me. So just
I think that's huge, Rebecca, very huge. And I think sometimes identifying the limitations of what the existing tool is. Guys, this was developed in the 1800s, right? Piece of paper, your name on it, your phone number on it. People on the cattle drives and the doctors and the dentists, they used to send these little paper cards to the town ahead of them, Western Union and all that type of stuff, to let people know they were coming to town. This was sort of like the ad. I mean, this is like no different than snail mail jumping to email, right? Like, think about the difference that made. And I think calling out the limitations, I always think of what I would refer to as the Febreze analogy, okay? Febreze, right? We sprayed on stuff to make things smell better. Well, when they came out with that, they weren't sure how to market it because it made people mask odors that they were already nose blind to, right? Like, oh, I'm in my room, there's stuff all over the place, and I have no clue because I'm used to how it smells, so it doesn't seem like there's a problem. But now I've got this marketing thing telling me I'm nose blind to how bad my shoes stink, my room stink, my car stinks, etc. And I need a solution because there is a problem that I don't recognize. And I think that's part of asking that question and exposing sometimes those limitations, and not in a negative way, right? But in a positive way. Hey, great, can I scan your card, or can I save you to my contacts? No? Okay, here, scan my card, fill out the form so I get your information, because that's so much easier and I won't lose it. By the way, let me recommend you getting your own digital card. That way people can save it right to their phone and they'll always be able to get a hold of you. I mean, that's how simple the conversation becomes, and it becomes a conversation, right? It's not telling isn't selling, right? It's asking those questions and doing those things. So what I want to do is ask, is there another person? We'll do another shuffle story. Anybody, if you want, raise your hand. Otherwise, I'll call on somebody. I know Kathy's the first guy. You going to do it?
I'm up. I'm up. And I'll try to give you the cliff notes because, I think
a long one. How about
ER tries to make us as young as possible, and I love it because every time we talk, every year, it's the last 10 years we've been doing something, and those last 10 years keep adding up a little bit. So, it's been a little bit more than 10 years, but what it really came down to is, in my past life, some of you may know I was an athlete, and coming out of that world, trying to figure out what to do. And there were multiple paths, had opportunities to go down, jumped in a few of them and did very well in them. But I think what sort of put the brakes on some of those were looking at, I'm very analytical, looking at, I guess, a success aspect, or people that are winning and people are losing. And And why are the people that are losing in the business, why are they? What are they missing? And I think it was like a divine intervention that ER and I got connected, because we were like-minded. We came together and said, hey, here's something that there's an opportunity to serve the a mass amount of people, not only in our hometowns, in our states, in our country, and effectively in the world. And so, taking that into consideration, I said that there, internally, I say, Guy, there's got to be something happening from your past life that can be implemented into here. And, I'd had many wise coaches, and we always talked about winning and losing. And I already mentioned winning and losing. There's a small element between the two. And a lot of times losing is actually, I would say 95% of the time, losing you learn more from than you do in winning. And it allows you to adjust, redial things in, go at a different angle, redirect that system to make sure that you can be more effective. Even from the sports world, the first NFL game was last night. Our coach would have said that Dallas or Tampa Bay did not win the game. Dallas lost the game, just from the amount of elements that were left out on the field, opportunities to score, those different types of things. You have 4 missed field goals, 3 missed field goals, whatever it was. There's opportunity there, but you learn from those. There's huge adjustments that happen. So a lot of that comes back to getting our Elify and our shuffle story, is being able to identify where, I guess, the masses would be losing out, and where can we start. I even had a conversation yesterday with an executive from a very large bank. Went to a charity event, and there's opportunity talking with them from the standpoint of an underserved market. And the underserved market doesn't know about something that's available to them that really can adjust their way of life. And the reason it is underserved, obviously, they don't know about it, but from this very large bank, they don't know how to provide it to them, how to get it out to them. There's opportunities here alone with Shuffle in order for them to get that out to this underserved market. That's a lot of the things we wanted to be able to do, is to pull this back into why are people not being so successful. It's because a lot of people are out there just trying to wing it, or they're adjusting their systems every day. Maybe something didn't work today, so I'm going to adjust tomorrow. And you don't let time sink in a little bit for what you need to be putting in for each one of those systems. So we wanted to come together and create something very simple to allow you to make that introduction, allow you to receive feedback, to set follow-ups, and to make calls, make texts, make interaction, network, do those different types of things. Things that are really money generating activities. If you don't do those things within your business, you are not going to reach success. You are not going to win in that business. You've always got to have new clients, customers, repeat customers, whatever that is. You've got to stay relevant to them. And that's what I had seen in some of those businesses after the athletic career was over, is the ones that were winning were implementing a system. And so many of them were telling team members to do what I do and do what I say. The system they had was so refined that it may be something that in order to follow that system, you had to be years had to put years worth of dedication to understand the system and follow it, instead of saying, this is what I did when I got started. And I think that's where Shuffle also falls in, is it can be as mild or as wild as you want it to be. During this time also, what has this done for us, or how can Shuffle affect people moving forward? I think from ER and myself, it's given us a time to reevaluate what Shuffle is. Another analogy that, with talking with the executive yesterday, is saying, how they put it out there is, during the pandemic, imagine businesses were all boats and they had to go into the harbor and be lifted out of the water. Well, so many businesses were lifted out as a boat and just put right back in, doing the exact same thing that they were doing. And then there's so many of those businesses that had to say, we had to make an adjustment. We had to course correct, redirect. And when they lifted their boat out, maybe they did a new bottom. Maybe they put a whole new boat in. Well, what we had the opportunity to do here with Shuffle is, during the pandemic, our boat was out in the water because it could do things during this time. It could still allow people to do business. But I think right now, what I love about this and being able to course correct and readjust, and I think, Kathy, you've been on some inside conversations, is we're actually going into the harbor right now because we need to lift this boat out, because we're not rebuilding this one. We're putting a whole new one in. And you want a really big boat that goes really fast. That's what we're excited about. And that's a little bit of cliff notes of what my Shuffle story is. There probably will be a day, and ER and I always joke about it, if there's ever something put together about him and I, to hear the highs and lows of what this business has done, some of the characters that have been a part of internal. Some people may know some people don't know some, but just what we were up against at times. And I think it's a testament to want to make sure that we want to provide something that's not really, we're not the designers of, we're not the ones that's coming to with this course correct, redirect, readjust. It's based on what our users have told us, and we want the filled to direct the build. So that is what my story is.
I love it, Guy. I love it. And you know what I find so interesting, and Guy, you mentioned it, is there's this topic of success leaving clues. And Guy, you talked about it. It's not even at some of the highest levels, it's not, who does the best, it's who makes the fewest number of mistakes. And if you make more mistakes than your competition will beat you. And also a concept that many of you can look up online on Pareto's principle, right? And Guy, you mentioned this. Why do 20% of people get 80% of the results and 80% of people only get 20% of the results? And Guy spoke to that just briefly with the systems and skills that people are implementing to generate revenue generating activities. And I think that's one of the things that, as you continue to go along with Elify and as you become part of this Elify Nation here, you're going to start to learn about those tips, those tricks, those best practices, those core methodologies. And this is what I love about Elify as a group, as a tribe, is this is a lot more than just the Shuffle technology. Yes, we want you guys to know the Shuffle technology inside and out, but we also want you to understand that Shuffle was created because we are on a mission to support the success of entrepreneurs, small business owners, work-at-home professionals, direct sellers, really those people with the entrepreneurial mindset. And part of that is supporting a business, and the other part is providing that business opportunity for people as well. So With that being said, Guy, I really appreciate the story. As always, I know we'll get to the point someday where people won't get the Cliff Notes version and they'll get all the down and dirty of everything. But, Guy's wife gave me a book once, and this was probably about 5 years ago. And the book was, and I'm looking at it right now, it's Angela Duckworth's Grit book. And I've got some books behind me and stuff like that. I'm always about pouring into myself and really trying to improve and continue education. And that's it. Grit is about not giving up, guys. We're all going to have the highs and the lows. We're all going to want to fire ourselves tonight. And it's okay. As long as we're willing to hire ourselves tomorrow and start fresh again. And Guy and I come in on Mondays. We come in every day. One of those best practices that we always do, it's about resetting every day. Each day is a new day. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. Today is what's important. It's the present, right? This gift we have is today. And all we can do is what's available to us now. And maybe we'll get done what we need to get done today. And maybe we won't. But after we go to bed, when we wake up tomorrow, it's a new day. So I want everybody on this call to remember that, because I was in a trap once where it was like, oh, shoot, I wasn't perfect. I failed. Now I'm not going to start again until the first of the month or until the first of the year. And that's a big trap, okay? You restart every day. If you need to step away from the room, and Michael Ray would talk about AMP, attitude, moment, purpose, you know what I mean? Get refreshed, shake it off, and come back in and refresh again. You can make a half day start if you needed to, you know what I mean? But don't discount the ability to restart at any time and start moving forward in the direction that you want to go. So I think we might have time for one more shuffle story. If there's anybody on here, I know we're going to have some housekeeping and other stuff that we typically go through. Got about 15 minutes left till the top of the hour. If there is a shuffle story, feel free to unmute and share it. Kathy, I might have you reshare yours as well. And I saw you unmute there. So I didn't see any other takers. So I was going to start calling names. But guys, if you're on this call and you did not share your shuffle story, here is the challenge for Friday with the Founders. You are going to come in next Friday, guys, if you're taking notes, and you are going to share your shuffle story. So be prepared. Your name may be called, and I'm going to doubly call you if you don't show up next Friday just to avoid not getting called, okay? So shuffle story is the homework. That is the challenge. Kathy, over to you.
Can I switch those since I just told my last week? Can I give a tip instead?
Yes, I will let you off since you did your story already.
All right. I was going to give a tip instead. So I had a great meeting yesterday with a business owner. It was super fun. It was somebody, of course, that I met networking and then got introduced to the owner of the company. So in case you guys just need an idea, maybe somebody new to talk to, I was just going to give you this idea. So they own a travel agency, and they have 1099 employees that work for them that are all agents. And what the owner was telling me that I thought was really interesting, and it made sense, but after we talked for a while, was that obviously on their main beautiful website, it lists who all the agents are, but each one of those agents doesn't have their own independent website. So he was like, this is just such a fun solution to take the same branding and the same feel, and all of our agents could use this if they wanted to then direct people specifically to them instead of to our main website, to lead capture, to ask questions. They have a questionnaire that they can use in their CRM and link it to the card. So right there, we've got, I think he said they've got like 18 people on their staff. And he's like, we're going to offer this to our entire staff. And they're just trying to figure out now, like, are they going to pay for it as a gift to them, or, are they going to offer it to their staff to pay for it? But super excited. He's like, my wife and I both need this, and it was really cute. So I sent both of them cards as we were sitting there and having this conversation. Of course, I invited the wife to my polka dot event last night at my ladies group. And as we were sitting there, her husband is opening my card. So I go up to her after the meeting and I show her, I was like, look, and he's been looking at my shuffle card all night. And she's like, that is just the coolest thing ever. So I think too, is when you have like a kind of going way back to Rebecca's story, right? When you've asked somebody what they need and you know how you can fill that gap. And then not only are you filling that need for them, but then you literally show them in the moment how it's helping you. You're going like, look, I can see the activity. It's in my phone. And then when she and I were sitting and chatting at lunchtime, she was like, I was like, let me send you something. I have to get you. I was like, you're in my phone contacts, but you're not in my shuffle contacts. You guys, when I'm talking to people, what I do is I literally will switch how I'm sitting instead of across from them. I'll sit next to them and I'll show you how I'm going to get you from my phone contacts into my shuffle contacts. What am I doing? I'm training them. I'm showing them how simple the system is while I'm also selling them on why they need the system. So that was my story from yesterday. It was super fun. I can't wait to work with this group. And I just wanted to share that in case there's like another idea of like, oh, I should go talk to people in my part of the world.
I love it. I love it. I love it, Kathy. You know, because there have been so many times we've been on a Tuesday call with everybody on there. And just by sharing stories like this and tips and tricks, it elicits like 5 other ideas about things. And there are a few things I want to call out just by listening to some of the stuff that you were saying right there. Obviously, asking the questions is a big one, guys. There's going to be common themes, right? Ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. Number 2, even if you did it subconsciously, Kathy, you did a state change or environment change with that person. It's like having 2 meetings in one. Just by shifting the way you're looking at them or sitting next to them, moving around, that builds comfort, guys. I don't know if you know that, but this is an NLP technique that you may be unaware that you're even doing, but that you can learn a lot of those and do those types of things. The other last thing I want to call out is something, Kathy, that I think you mentioned that was so important. And it's there are all types of businesses out there, all types. Some of them are big, giant Fortune 500 businesses with 50,000 employees. Some of them are network businesses with 100,000 independent contractors. And some of them range all the way in between. So take a step back and think about and brainstorm. And Kathy, I love your point. If it's a business with independent contractors, there's a good chance that there's a limitation on what the business is providing in marketing and what supports the independent contractors. And to your point, maybe there are some things that the company will cover for those independent contractors, or maybe the contractors are paying in a fee to the company to provide or access that resource. And in other scenarios, it's entirely on them. Maybe they're an independent rep, a broker, something else like that, where they come in and they're under somebody else's shingle, you know, but they still need tools and support. So be aware that those opportunities exist. The last thing I want to call out from Kathy's little tip there, which I think is so valuable, is the experience you create for other people. And this cannot be overlooked in any way, because this is the game changer of what Shuffle does to people, right? Not just for people, but what it does to people. It creates an experience, and the whole world doesn't know about Shuffle, everybody. This is what's exciting. Like, this is what gets me excited, okay? For the last 3 years, we've relied solely on affiliate word of mouth marketing. So the people who know about it are the people that you've told. If you haven't told somebody about Shuffle, they don't know about it. And if you create that Shuffle experience because of how novel Shuffle is, you know, if you come up and you tap somebody's phone and an ad comes up, if you come up and they scan it off your device, you airdrop it to them, they're opening it and viewing it and engaging in it. You're getting alerts and you're showing them the interaction and all of that type of stuff, okay? It's one thing to show people a slice of cake. It's another thing to let them have a bite. And when they have a bite, they're like, oh my gosh, it looked good, but it tasted great. Can I get a slice of that, you know? And this is why companies sample out cake. So we're working on things internally that are going to allow you guys to sample out promo business cards and other things like that so much more efficiently, so much more streamlined. Like, that's what I get excited about. In fact, Guy and I have been working on that diligently in the background, got a few announcements and updates to give to everybody, a little housekeeping as we wrap up Friday with the founders. I know we did not get a chance to go through some open Q&A because we did stories today, but if you do have a question or you're watching this in replay and have a question, just throw it down in the comments. We'll get to it and we'll get a reply back to you, or do it in the social groups. That's the best way, if you're not on a Friday with the founders, to get your questions answered. So a little bit of the update, as you saw, we were doing a little bit of the tap practice here. So it's in alpha right now. Guy and I are in the process of testing what the final version of the user interface is going to be for NFC tap cards. The whole goal of this is to bring the tap cards out to our event in October And without saying anything, but Guy and I have been talking in the background, there might be an extra free gift for everybody that's at the event that might help you share your information a little bit easier if you want to read through some of the lines there. So really excited about the tap card we've been working on with the NFC. I think that's going to create an amazing experience with people. I think it also supports our mission of really getting away from some of the waste that comes along with business cards and other print resources. I think they have their place, but I also think that there's a lot of waste in having a card that you can just walk around to everybody and tap, 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 tap. And I know, Kathy, you've been alpha testing some of that stuff as well. It's pretty exciting. We've got some other stuff going on. We've been working on the UI UX, as we've mentioned on past Friday with the founders calls. We're getting some designs together and some scope of flows on modularizing Shuffle and making it so that we can really service people better, help people more with just building an a la carte offering or bundle package that best works for them. Everything from free to about $30 a month, as you guys know, with Shuffle. So we're going to be highlighting that, and we may even ask or request that either existing users, a handful of them, and new users participate in giving us some feedback on some of those designs. As Guy said, it's the field directing the build, and our goal is intuitiveness, ease of use, dependability, speed, all of those great things. As a company, we continually refine that product. Lastly, I want to pull up some of the information, as we always do, not about the affiliate program. If you have questions about affiliate payout and you don't know about the 10, the 8, and the 1, you want to go to the affiliate page of the website and check that stuff out, or post a comment or ask a question in the social group. So let's do some housekeeping real quick as we wrap this thing up. I've got about 5 minutes for my hour time with you guys, and I don't want to go over unless we have to. So let's jump over. I'm looking at the Week at a Glance card. For those of you who haven't saved this to your mobile device, we should post a link in the chat section so that you can save this. And you're going to want to join Kathy on Tuesdays to learn how to save cards to your home screen on your phone if you don't know how to do that already. That's an amazing way. If you're a service provider who does regular service, you're going to want to have your clients save your card directly on the home screen of their phone, not just in the contacts. So if they need to call you, schedule an appointment, do anything like that, you're one click away. So we've got this Week at a Glance card. Obviously, we're on Friday with the founders, but we're going to kick it off on Sunday here. We don't have anything going on Sundays, so this is your opportunity to pour into yourself, right? That recharge, refill, will, skill, etc. Guys, we don't want to consume any of your time on that day. On Monday, Guy and I do sprint plannings. This is Mondays at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. This is your reminder to make a plan. Okay, Guy and I have already made our plan when we're on this call. The cat's out of the bag. Okay, we're already working on our day. And one of the items on our win list for Mondays is sprint planning, to remind you to do the same thing, right? Success leaves clue, but sometimes we all need that gentle nudge that, hey guys, we're out here working and practicing too. This is your call to action to do the same. So if you're not familiar with sprint planning, mark your calendar and start attending that every Monday, and it will be a game changer in what you get done with the week. Again, 80-20. If you want to be part of the 20% of people that get 80% of the results, you need to start executing a plan, and that means putting it down on paper and then taking action on it. Tuesday, Shuffle Q&A. This is can't miss unless you are a Shuffle expert. And if you raise your hand and tell me you're a Shuffle expert, we're setting up a one-on-one call, and you're going through to train me because I want to see the level of aptitude that we're at. Otherwise, your call to action is to be on Tuesday with Kathy. What I love about Tuesday, and this is my sort of testimonial for Q&A with Kathy, is it's an intimate setting, small group of people, open roundtable discussion, focused topics, non-recorded. If you have a problem with your card and you want somebody to help you out on it, that's the place to be, because Kathy's going to say, who needs help and what do you want to know? And as a master trainer over here at Elify, she knows it all, and she's already in the background seeing some of the stuff that's coming too. So she is the ultimate resource for learning all things Shuffle and the technology. But that gets followed up by Wednesday, everybody. Again, we said this isn't just about tools and technology. This is also about filling ourselves, personal improvement. And this is all about acquiring the knowledge and skills to be a business owner, to run a business, and to be successful. Okay, so we've got that mindset of a champion business training happening on Wednesday nights. For the Tuesdays with Kathy, check. She changes the time to create some more flexibility for people to join this. On Wednesdays, it's going to be every Wednesday at the same time. For Mountain Time, that's 7 p.m. our time on Wednesday. Adjust for your time zone. Thursday, I know Guy and I have been saying we're going to open up some office hours. We may start that next week. So you're going to want to save this card, check in on Monday. It'll be refreshed, and we'll see what's going on. Otherwise, there's nothing going on Thursdays, guys. So really, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're at maybe an hour total time, hour and a half, if you're blocking time for the week. Here's where we're at right now, Friday with the Founders. We've got a minute left to go through the rest of this stuff, right? Every week, Guy and I get a chance to get on with everybody. Roundtable discussion, you're in it right now. We want it to be conversational. We want you to come with your tips and your tricks like Kathy was talking about. We want to know your shuffle story. We want to answer your questions. We want you to be on the same page as us because you're part of this community. So this is the chance to ask those questions. Come prepared to Friday with the Founders with anything you want to know or anything you want to ask, and we can collectively work together as a community to help you with whatever you need to know. Saturday, we've got a discovery call, but Guy and I talked with Edwin and Michael, and we're going to get that evergreen card done and finalized. And then these calls on Saturday are going to go away because you've got a card you can share to anybody at any time at their convenience to discover what Elify is and what Shuffle is. In the meantime, if you're looking for a live event, the Saturday one is the one to do. But as we talk about with the time freedom and the location freedom, locking up their time on an hour on Saturdays, who would like that to be there every Saturday, guys? Come on. So we're going to do the evergreen thing and free them up a little bit as well. And that's part of how technology creates efficiencies for us.
ER, can you do me a favor? Just because I haven't had a chance to test it yet. Can you refresh this screen and see if that is already adjusted? There's a chance it's already adjusted to be the evergreen video.
Yep. In fact, let me scroll down here, and I might have not have refreshed my page anyways. Nope, it looks like we still need to push or approve that update, and we'll get this adjusted. So again, make sure you've got this link. If somebody could post that in the chat, that would be great. Okay, let's jump over to the next one. I think this might be the Tuesday call. So you can click on the link there and go to that. Some of these are going to refresh. These are all cards here, guys. So bear with me as we go through loading these again. Yep. I like to keep all my cards up in a tab. I don't know what each of you guys do to be efficient, but sometimes that means they have to reload. So we've got the Talk Shuffle with Kathy. I'm going to reload some of these. There we go. This is the last thing I want to cover, everybody, with Friday with the Founders. Not the Discover call, but our October event. So guys, from success to significance, I'm starting to get amped up. Kathy, I know you, Guy, and I need to have a little bit of roundtable because on Friday of the October 1st, we're going to be having a coffee talk breakfast, a discussion with everybody. I know I'm excited to go through a lot of stuff. I know we've got some speakers who are going to be there. Rebecca, I'll call you up to go through some of that. But if you haven't registered for this, take an opportunity to think about what you want to do in 2022 and how you're going to get there, and think about how you're going to pour into yourself. This is an event that is not a Shuffle specific event, okay? We are just a title sponsor to this event. Yes, we're going to talk about how Shuffle can support your business, but this is an Elevate Your Business, Simplify Your Life success event, okay? This is in Dallas in October 1st. There are cards available to register for the event. If you haven't gotten your ticket, there are VIP tickets, just a handful of those still available. There are also the regular general admission tickets available. If you're local to the area, we'd love to have you come in. You don't need to do the hotel block. If you are flying in, and Guy and I are coming from Colorado to this event, that's how excited we are. Look, there's going to be a great lineup. In fact, Rebecca, do you want to unmute and talk about the lineup of speakers we have here? I'd be happy to scroll on the screen.
Go ahead, ER. She had to bounce.
Oh, did she bounce? Okay, look, you guys know him and love him. Edwin, Michael Ray, these two guys will be going through trust process and a bunch of other stuff, right? The will, skill, and refill that we're going to get from these guys is going to be amazing. Okay, Brooklyn, I have not had a chance to meet her, but I've heard wonderful things about her. and we're going to learn a lot of information from her and from Lee. Lee is amazing. If you have not had a chance to meet her and you want to see how success leaves clues, here's a person who has had 7-figure businesses multiple times, somebody you're not going to want to miss and learning from. We've heard from Jamar on our Friday with the Founders. Again, digital marketing specialist, branding, all of that type of stuff. Oh, there's a familiar face. It's Kathy. Guys, again, somebody who I believe not just is an expert in Shuffle, but really the true value here is she is an expert in networking. And I will tell you what, if we're trying to build our businesses, the number one thing that will build any business is a relationship, and a new relationship at that. So if you want to learn how to use Shuffle when networking, Kathy's going to be an ultimate resource along with a lot of other information, tips, and tricks. And I'm actually looking forward to sitting down, taking some notes, and really listening to what Kathy has to say on stuff. Obviously, you guys know these guys. You've been on with them for the last hour here. Look, we spend a lot of time saying a lot of the same stuff on a lot of these calls because there are new people on these calls, okay? In any given week, there's maybe 2.5 to 3 hours worth of total Shuffle Live stuff going on. Imagine what you guys are going to learn from Guy and I when we have 2 full days to sit down and powwow together. We're going to learn a ton of information. We're going to leave fired up, and we're going to come and get turbocharged to rocket through our business as we leave this event. So I hope you guys will be there to hear from us. Obviously, Rebecca had to bounce. Otherwise, she would have been able to toot her own horn. So I guess you guys will have to show up at the event to learn what she has to say. There may be some sneak speakers coming in there as well, but that's the list. There is a card, and we will get that posted. The agenda is coming up. We'll get that shared out as well, including that coffee talk on Friday morning with Guy and I. So I'll save going through this since we're a little bit over on time. And if you are flying in like Guy and I are, we do have a block of rooms available at the Marriott, I believe is what it is. And you can get all of the hotel details and book your room rate and all of that type of stuff. I think it is actually the Hilton, Embassy Suites by Hilton. So guys, check that out. That's it. I'm going to get off of my soapbox here. All the housekeeping is done. But look, tomorrow's Saturday. If there's a discovery call, join it. Otherwise, your challenge is to send out the new Evergreen Discovery Call card to 5 people. Just 5, okay? So take an opportunity to either invite 5 people to tomorrow's call or send out that Evergreen card to 5 people minimum, okay? Post that you did that in the comments or on the group, and we'll check in with everybody. Let's hold each other accountable on that stuff. Outside of that, from myself over here at Elify and from my partner Guy, I want to wish you guys an amazing day and an amazing weekend. At the end of the day, you're going to get out what you put in. So pour into yourself and pour into this. And I promise you're going to love what the results are. So thank you so much for your time.